All right, Nuggets fans, welcome into Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by our good friends here at Mile High Sports and FanDuel. I'm your host, Ryan Blackburn at NBA Blackburn on Twitter, part of the Mile High Sports Podcast Network, and I am here. I am ready to discuss the Denver Nuggets and Jamal Murray, who last night put on an absolute show. Very excited to be able to talk about a Nuggets win, their 8th win in a row. And it was just a tremendous performance for sure. Really excited to be able to get into this one. Really excited to be able to talk about Jamal Murray scoring 52 points. And we'll talk about all of it on today's episode. Before we get into it, I'm going to mention this twice throughout the show. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be live from Peckish in the DTC area. It's a wings and pizza spot. It's really comfortable. There's TVs everywhere. It's like amazing food. It's some of the best food that I've had in terms of just going to a venue and hanging out with friends and being very excited to just be there. And it's great. So you're going to want to stop by in the DTC area, go to Peckish. I will be there. I'll be doing a preview of tomorrow's game. And then depending on how things go, we'll do a post-game show as well. But there will be giveaways. There will be just a lot of festivity, a lot of fun. And especially after the snow's just come down, like you want to go out on a Friday night, take advantage of it before things get even worse. So make sure to come check it out at Peckish in the DTC area over near Bellevue Station. Okay. Let's talk about Jamal Murray. Let's talk about this amazing performance that he just had. Hey, who knows if Jamal Murray is going to play, right? Who knows if Jamal Murray is going to step up and just be healthy enough to go in this particular game. He rolled his right ankle in the Monday matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. I saw that he was on the trip heading to Indiana on Tuesday. Thought, okay, that's a good sign at least. You don't know what's going to happen there, but at least he's on the trip. This wasn't a super long-term thing where they're going to rest him. And he popped up as questionable on the injury report. So you never know. Maybe he plays. Maybe this wasn't as serious as everybody thought it could be when he initially rolled it and had to leave the game. Kind of like Christian Braun's injury where he rolled it. He came back in, but looked pretty bad. And then he's out for 6 weeks. Didn't know what it was going to be like for Jamal. He comes back, he plays on Wednesday, and boy, did he play well. This was one of those games that you're going to remember for Jamal Murray for a long time with the way that he interacted with just the offense and really set the table. It was a whole bunch of pressure release stuff where Jokic is trying to be the lead playmaker. He finishes with 13 assists, but the best option for him by far was to go to Jamal Murray. It was to run the two-man game. It was to set him up as much as possible. There were only a couple of times where Jokic set up Jamal, other guys set up Jamal, where he wasn't already directly involved with the play. There was one I remember where Jokic throws a looping pass over the double team because the defense rotated away from the opposite corner. And who's in the opposite corner? It's Jamal Murray. That's quite the choice, guys. But just a tremendous game from Murray, who in general, like, he has risen to the occasion in a lot of these cases. But let's go over the numbers. 52 points in 36 minutes, 19 of 25 from the field, 10 of 11 from three is a career high in three-pointers made, and then 4 of 5 from the line. Only 5 free throw attempts is impressive in a game like this. Usually in like games where you get to 50, you're going to get to the free throw line at least 10 to 12 times. Not Jamal. Like, Jamal has a game where he went to 50 points with 0 free throws. So you know that he doesn't need it. You just know he needs to get hot. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal as well. Only had 1 turnover. It was funny. It was like, okay, didn't even need to have the turnover, man. But like, just an insane performance, an extremely efficient performance. Like, usually in a lot of these cases, you're using a lot of possessions. You have a whole bunch of responsibility to, like, you're going to take a lot of shots. You're going to take a lot of possessions. Like, the defense is going to react to you. They're going to force you to turn the ball over. Nope. Like that wasn't the case in any way, shape, or form. Jamal was on fire. He was the thumbnail that I pulled for this one was him blowing out his hand because like it was so hot and he was so hot. Just a tremendous game from him and one that the Nuggets needed, right? Like Indiana's not as bad as their record says they are. It says that they're 4-18. That is not a 4-18 caliber team. I do not believe it in any sense. They've had injuries, they've had absences, they've had just some bad luck at the beginning of the year, Indiana for sure. I think when we look back at the full season picture for Indiana, they're going to get up to about 30 wins. Uh, this overall like level that they've established is almost entirely due to the injury bug that they've sustained and not retaining a full-time center because Jay Huff started this game. Isaiah Jackson came off the bench didn't and Tony Bradley was also involved. Like none of those guys really made an impact against certainly Murray, but really Jokic too. Like it just felt like they were overburdened Indiana because of the attention that Jokic was taking in the middle. Like the points that Murray scored to get to 50 is just a simple like left side of the floor pick and roll and empty side pick and roll. And the big, I think it was Tony Bradley, just runs away from Murray because like Jokic is in the middle, and that's some true gravity that you're getting from Jokic there. And they knew that they couldn't leave Jokic, but you're going to leave the guy who's got 47 and then steps back behind the 3-point line for 50 points. Like completely insane, completely insanity. Denver's offense, when they can just run two-man game with those guys, is unbelievable. They have leveled up to the point where on last night's Locked On, I compared it to Stockton and Malone or Shaq and Kobe or any of the dynamic duos, the dynamic pick and rolls that you could possibly ask for. Like this is a higher version of Nash and Stoudemire. Like just crazy stuff from those two. And I think we are officially at the point where we can say that Jamal Murray is all-star caliber. Like it's taken a little bit, and I've wanted to hold off at least a little bit, say he's playing like an all-star, playing similar to an all-star. There's like various kind of qualifiers that you have. You want to say, okay, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see. Okay, is he going to come back to earth a little bit? Is he hurt? Like he just got hurt? Like how is that going to impact? Nope. Doesn't matter. He is all-star caliber this year. There's just no question about it. The reason why the Nuggets are 15-6, either second, third, or fourth in the Western Conference right now, is because they have not one, but two guys that have been extremely highly consistent for them. One is Nikola Jokic, who's the best player in the world and obviously takes a lot of that attention. Obviously, he helps Murray in so many different ways. But let's not get it twisted. Jamal Murray helps Nikola Jokic, maybe not as much, but pretty close to as much. Because if you have a guy who can go off the dribble, who when you set a screen, the big needs to go with Jamal or else he is going to score. You need to, sometimes teams have hard hedged. They have tried to get the ball out of Murray's hands and really bother him and force turnovers. But Murray's turnover rate, still pretty reasonable. And on top of it, his shooting efficiency this year is better than it's ever been. He's now shooting over 50% from the field, 45% from three, and 89% from the line on a career high in 3-point attempts. The efficiency is there. The volume is there. He's taking on responsibility and he's doing everything that this Nuggets team has asked him to do from a consistency standpoint. So, I don't know how to say it any bigger than that. Jamal Murray is an all-star this year. He has to be there. If he's not there, then it's like there's some random stuff that happened where, I remember years complaining that guys like Paul George and Mike Conley and some of the older veterans and guys that have their players okay, Mike Conley, yes, he's a really nice guy. He deserved it. He had a very efficient year. This is more efficient than Mike Conley was. This is more volume than Paul George had. this is just a better season and for a better team. And I think that this is the year that Jamal Murray sheds the greatest non-all-star title. And like one of the reasons he has that is because no, he hasn't made an all-star team. But the other is because you see the levels that he can get to. You see the thresholds with which he can rise to if like given the opportunity to do so. The playoffs is one of them where, yeah, he's not going to be an all-star, but he's going to be a champion. You see the various reasons for him to jump up, and like, he's had 50 points in the regular season. He's had 50 points in the playoffs. He's had a triple double in the finals. Like he's had these insane levels that he's reached. I remember he had 30 points in the first half versus the Lakers in game 3 of that 2023 Western Conference Finals. Like he has had these levels that he's reached throughout his career where a game like this is not a surprise, but it's pleasant. That's for sure. I do think that he continues to grow, and it was, I think, a little bit underrated that he could get better. I think a lot of people just assume that he was what he was, and him getting healthy, him taking some time away, him just resetting the mind a little bit. Michael Malone got fired last year. Jamal has had to, I think, do some soul searching over the course of this offseason and into the preseason. And what he found was that he's capable of this, and there's no reason why he can't do it. And the Nuggets need him to do it, and he has delivered in spades. It's been a really impressive year for Jamal Murray so far, and I do think that when it's all said and done for all-star voting this year, he has to be there. Like, I understand why people would want to credit Josh Giddey for averaging really good numbers. I understand why like Alperen Sengun has deserved to make a jump. Like he has been really good for the Houston Rockets this year. You just got to find a way to get Jamal Murray in this game, man. Like he has absolutely stepped up and earned it. He's done everything the Nuggets have asked him to do and more. And there's just no doubt in my mind that this is where Denver needs to go. Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the game. We'll talk about the rest of what happened here for Denver in this one. And then I'll mention a little bit more about Peckish and just some exciting things that I'm looking forward to there. We'll talk about it next year on Pickaxe and Roll. This podcast is brought to you by Delete Me. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone feel vulnerable. Data brokers, they profit off of your data. It's a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. Have you ever been the victim of identity theft, harassment, doxing? If you haven't, you probably know someone who has. Delete Me can help. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to deleteme.com/hit and use promo code HIT at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/HIT and enter code HIT at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/HIT, code HIT. All right, we are back. Pickaxe and Roll, Ryan Blackburn here. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, folks. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Would really, really appreciate it. Sorry, the internet is doing some weird things here, so hopefully the broadcast quality is okay. Was certainly not my intention if it struggles a little bit, but you never know. Sometimes this do be like that. Okay, Denver, of course, won this last game, 135-120. There were some good things that happened, especially in the first half. Denver got out to an early lead. They generated some good stuff. I'm going to throw the rotation chart up on the screen, actually, so people can follow along with what I am seeing. Jokic had a little bit of an early sub at the 4:17 mark, if I remember, in that first quarter. I think that Bennett Durando, if I'm not mistaken, he reported that Jokic asked out of the game and then went to the tunnel. I'm not sure if it was injury related. I'm not sure if it was bathroom related. I'm not sure if there was something else that was going on. But for whatever reason, Jokic had the early sub and Murray finished the quarter. I didn't know, like, because when I was thinking about how they were going to handle this game, it was going to be all right. Let's see what it looks like from a perspective of, okay, Murray's going to take a lesser role. We're going to see how long, like what he can do. I didn't expect him to play the full 12 minutes of the first quarter, but maybe I should have. It's awesome to see. But yeah, Murray finishes the quarter with Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway, Zeke Naji, Jonas Valanciunas. Then Cam Johnson comes in for him for a couple minutes. That didn't work that great. I think that there were some aspects that were okay, but that particular lineup where Zeke Naji came in for, it's not really Zeke Naji's fault entirely. He did have a bad turnover. I'll say that still stands out in my mind, but it was just one throughout the grand scheme of the game. But Jokic then came back in at the beginning of the second quarter, and it really did start a nice run for the Nuggets. This lineup of Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Peyton Watson, Nikola Jokic, that's a great group. And Denver's gotten to that before, of course, when Murray rests in the first quarter and then Jokic is still out there. But I really liked that group because Bruce can play on and off the ball. Of course, Tim Hardaway's been very aggressive, and Cam Johnson, Peyton Watson are like, Cam's working with Jokic and getting even better, and then Peyton Watson's providing that defensive layer that this group obviously needs. And so that group did really well. And then Murray comes back in on the floor, and they really start going off. And that's when Murray starts really going off too. He started, especially in those final 3 to 4 minutes or so, just really got it going. And from there, it was the Murray show after that. He had 23 points in the first half, 29 in the second half, and it just took off in so many impressive ways. Denver, again, they got it by about 25 in this game and could have been better. They let go of the rope a little bit defensively, and sometimes you slow down a little bit on the offensive end too when you're focused in on one specific player. But they scored 135 points. It really should not be about the offense in any way, shape, or form. And it wasn't. Denver's efficiency was fantastic. They shot 17 of 28 from three. They actually outpaced their efficiency from 2-point range, which is insane. They're at 59% from the field, 61% from three, and 77% from the free throw line. So some really good stuff. Only 10 turnovers as a team as well is a good number. If you can keep it to 10 or less, 10 or fewer, then you're in a really good spot. That's what Denver should be trying to do on a consistent basis. Now, they were able to simplify the game in this one because Murray was as hot as he was. And then if it's not him, then Jokic is, of course, the guy that you're going to. So we'll keep in mind a couple of the turnovers that they did have. But if Jokic and Murray combine for 5 and the rest of the team combines for 5, that's a really good breakdown, I think, because of the responsibilities that those guys carry and the overall low usage and potentially low turnover options that the Nuggets have going forward. But I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw. The defense in the first half was really good. That's where you really show at least a few extra layers here. But the defense in the third and fourth quarter was not good. It was not what you would expect from a team that's trying to bounce back in this case. It's not what you would expect from a team going up against Indiana, who, while I can credit them all I want to as being better than a 4-18 team, if Denver's going to improve defensively, they shouldn't be giving up 120 to Indiana. They should be playing on a consistent basis against I don't know. Indiana's not that good in terms of offense. They have some good defensive layers. Pascal Siakam's very good. Andrew Nembhard found some ways, but from the box score perspective, TJ McConnell, 14 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block. He was great. He was +3 in a game that they lost by 15. He was one of the reasons why they came back. Ben Shepherd only had 18 minutes for some reason, but he was +3 and 5 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. Jarris Walker was an issue for them at -24. Benedict Mathurin was an issue at -25. And then Nembhard was on the floor trying to guard Jamal Murray throughout all of this, and that's not going to help your plus-minus. But Pascal Siakam was very good for them. Jay Huff did not shoot the ball well enough, but they still, as a team, shot 13 of 28 from three, 46%. That's a crazy number. Denver just shot 61%. So obviously it may not feel that way. Indiana also got to the free throw line a whole bunch in that fourth quarter, and that definitely slowed down the game. It allowed Indiana to really, they got 41 points in the fourth. So you can understand why Denver had those struggles the way that they did. But they're going to figure them out. There was a clip that went out, and I'm pivoting here. There was a clip that came out from the young man in the three. Cam Johnson is now the host of that podcast, so congratulations to him. He talked to Aaron Gordon in one of the first episodes, and really good conversation, a lot of good layers that they went through in that conversation. One of the clips that they pulled, though, was Aaron Gordon talking about being himself and how he needed, the Nuggets needed Cam Johnson to be himself. And if he is the best version of Cam Johnson that he can be, then the Nuggets will win a title. And he thinks that they'll be there at the end. I'm not sure when this episode was recorded. I'm not sure how much they've gone through and what the overall layers are that they've had to sort of figure out. But what I will say is that Cam Johnson has figured some stuff out. It hasn't been perfect. He still had 9 points in this last game on 7 shots. But I mean, a lot of that was because force feed Jamal Murray, force feed Nikola Jokic as much as possible when they're playing this well. But there's a lot of confidence is what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of confidence, even with a couple bad losses here or there, there's a lot of confidence that the Nuggets are going to be there at the end if they're healthy, if they are put together. They feel like they have the right mix. They feel like they have the right group that they can put together and just do a lot of great things. So I get into the weeds, and a lot of Nuggets fans get into the weeds on all of the different layers that, you could evaluate, you could think about, and basically say, all right, we're going to look at this, we're going to look at that, and this is the reason why I'm frustrated. This is the reason why they're bad. This is the reason why they're not going to win a title. But they're also just trying to get through October, November, and December before really kicking into gear in January and then continuing to build towards February, March, April, and then into May and June. It's a long year. It is a long year. And the fact that Denver got off to the start that they did was really impressive. It was a really impressive start. I think they went 10-2 at the beginning of the year. Okay. Now they are 15-6. They are 5-4 in their last 9 games. It's not the best. You would expect them to be better against Chicago and Sacramento and Dallas and some of these other teams that they've lost to. But they've also beaten Minnesota. They've also beaten Houston, and they haven't had those other opportunities to really test themselves. This next game will be a test against Atlanta. This next game will be a tough one. Atlanta's been very good to start this year. I don't remember what their actual record is, but what I do know is that they've been surprisingly good without Trae Young. Looking at the standings here, oh wow, they're only 5-5 in their last 10 actually. So 13-10 on the season. East is surprisingly good with the top 9 teams. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're great because I think the best 4 or 5 teams all reside in the Western Conference. But Denver, I think, has shown that despite all the layers and the concerns and the things you can think about, they are good enough to get there at the end. And over-indexing on what happens in these early months is probably wrong. What I have seen is that when Denver is healthy, when they have all of their layers together, when they are pushing the same direction, and when everybody's locked in, they have a chance. And like that's all you can ask for when you're dealing with a team like OKC, who is quite literally 21-1 and has won 13 games in a row. Like they started out 8-0, then lost a game, and they lost it like pretty close, and then they've won the next 13. Like they are a historically great regular season team, and they're probably going to be a historically great playoff team. So Denver's going to need to rise to that occasion eventually. But they don't have to do it right now. They just have to survive. They just have to win as many games as possible at this point, and then they will figure it out. So, look, I've been impressed with a variety of things. I've been disappointed with a variety of things, especially more on the defensive end and some of the effort stuff. But I do think that ultimately the Nuggets are in a good place, and you just have to keep pushing and keep surviving without stressing too terribly much. And that's tough for somebody like me who you guys want me to react. You guys want me to like give you the perspective and like provide, and sometimes get mad, sometimes get frustrated when the team does not perform up to standard. And like I have to talk about it accurately. So if they don't, then I'll tell you. Like the defense is still like it's still pretty shaky. I think over the course of the past couple of weeks, really bordering on 3 weeks now, Denver's like 29th or 30th in defense. They've been really bad. So what are you going to do about it? You're eventually going to have to really lock in and really play better defense. You might even have to make an addition. You might even have to make a trade. So we'll talk about it all. But for now, I think that it's really just about getting through, especially when you're missing the guys that they are. Like Julian Strawther, I think missed like his 9th game in a row or so. It might even be more than that with the back injury that he's suffered, but like he's not going to come back anytime soon. From the thinking that David Adelman and the discussion that David Adelman had with us on Monday night, like I don't think he's ready. And so you've been without not just one, not just two, but 3 guys for a significant period of time. So when that happens, everybody else has to hunker down and basically say, okay, well, we're going to try. We're going to try to win these games, but you may not get the all-encompassing performances that you would hope for, especially with the identity that Denver has as an offensive team and not a defensive team. And that's not a problem when everybody's healthy, because Denver has enough guys that they can go to be better on the defensive end when the time comes, but not now. Like that's what happens when you remove Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon from the equation. So we'll see where it goes from here. But for now, let's wrap up with this. Actually, I should do some stuff for FanDuel as well, because that is what I should be doing. We really do have a 2-horse race for the MVP race now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at plus 155, according to FanDuel. Nikola Jokic at plus 170. Luka Doncic is in the rear view at plus 280. But you know who's not in the MVP odds race right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo. That has not developed the way that Bucks fans really hoped, and I'm just not really surprised, obviously. I wonder, there is no unfortunate place for, like, Giannis is in a really tough spot because he has tried to be loyal. He has tried to be like the right leader for Milwaukee, but they traded for Damian Lillard, and Dame, not only did he struggle in his first season, but then he tore the Achilles in the second season. And then the management pivoted, trying to be as competitive as they possibly could this year, because they couldn't do that with Dame's like Achilles injury and the whole bunch of dead money that he had on their roster. Like they just didn't have enough financial flexibility. So they decided to go a different direction. They got Miles Turner, who, leaving the aforementioned Indiana Pacers, probably makes the Pacers worse for sure, but it didn't make the Bucks that much better because they also lost Brook Lopez in the process. Like they didn't just add Miles Turner to their team. He replaced another guy who was a capable starting center for them. And while Brook was aging out, and there was no question about that, they also didn't really tangibly replace Damian Lillard. Like they got Kevin Porter Jr. and Cole Anthony, and like I love him, but Gary Harris is not going to replace Damian Lillard or what you were hoping for from that perspective. And on top of that, they made another dumb trade by moving Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. So like there's not a lot that the Bucks and like that the Giannis can do with that particular roster. So I was thinking that he would try to get out of there during the summer. Like it would make the most sense for him to try to do that. But that didn't happen. That wasn't available to them. And now wherever he's going to go, I don't know. I do not think that he is going to play any more meaningful games with the Milwaukee Bucks. He might play some games when he comes back from this calf strain that he has. It's a 2 to 4 week injury that he suffered last night. Dangerous injury, a non-contact injury, and like looked visually like a possible Achilles injury, but ultimately it was not that. It was just a grade 2 calf strain, I believe, or if not that, then maybe like grade 1.5. That's 2 to 4 weeks is what it is. But he's going to take it easy. He's not going to really rush back trying to save this Bucks team. And while there have been 9 other teams that are in the like above 500 range, like the Bucks are 10-13 and 10th, and they're 2-8 in their last 10 games. They did win their last game, but like they just have not stepped up in the manner that they needed to. By the way, the Bulls have fallen off like crazy, 9-12. So Denver, I think, was their. I don't know if Denver was their last win, but it kind of feels like it. That was not the most impressive loss that the Nuggets had to the Bulls. So we'll see where Giannis goes from here, but clearly odds on FanDuel have removed him from MVP potential. I don't see any major odds for Giannis trade destinations yet. But if I go to, let's see if is there any way to get some individual odds? No, there's not. So we'll do this another time. But yeah, will be interesting to see where the NBA kind of shifts. As Cody says, December 15th is right around the corner. Snow Wolf says that all the best players go to the Lakers. Screw you, Snow Wolf. That doesn't happen. Definitely wouldn't happen where a potential top 3 player in the league gets traded to the Lakers for scraps named Anthony Davis. That would be insane. That would be completely bonkers. Stupid. Okay. Last thing before we get out of here. Like I said, we're going to be at Peckish. Mile High Sports is going to Peckish tomorrow for a 5:30 game, and we're going to be there. I'll be ordering some wings, some pizza. Like they've got some good apps there as well. I'll probably focus on the wings. Those are the best. That's what I've really come to enjoy. They've got some really awesome flavors there as well. Not your normal flavors, and their wings are huge. Like you want when you order wings, you want to make sure that they're going to be worth it. These are worth it. Let me tell you. They are very worth it. And there's some really fun, interesting pizza flavors as well over at Peckish in the DTC area. So make sure to check it out. You could stop by, say hi, would really appreciate it. There are a whole bunch of giveaways that are going to be there. There's a variety of ways. Like just watch the game, have a good time. I'll share my thoughts during the game as much as I can. I'm going to do a pregame show at 5, maybe 5:05, somewhere around there. And then post game, we'll see what happens, but make sure to go around and thank everybody for stopping by. Would really, really appreciate it. But yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by our good friends here at Mile High Sports and FanDuel. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, everybody. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. I hope to see you tomorrow. We'll figure out what Pickaxe is going to look like on Saturday, but I'm probably mostly just going to do the Peckish stuff. So make sure if you're not able to attend in person, make sure to check it out. Pre-game, post-game should be fun. Everybody have a good week. We'll talk to you guys very soon.